It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, folks, thanks for tuning us in. I'm Sam Lesante, and you're watching The Sam Lesante Show. She has been in the district attorney's office for 19 years. She has been the district attorney for 4 years. We're talking about Jackie Musto Carroll, who is the district attorney in Luzerne County. Now, I asked Jackie a couple of questions 4 years ago when she ran for district attorney, like I asked Governor Corbett when I interviewed him last year, what they had promised they were going to do and what they achieved. Well, here's what her platform was in 2007. A desire to formalize specialized units within the district attorney's office, expand a community outreach program as promised, pledge to seek out ways to bring funds to the DA's office to fight crime, pledge to work hand-in-hand with law enforcement to continue training and cooperation among different agencies, pledge to continue to seek out and institute crime-fighting initiatives that she successfully has done so far. So these were the things, Jackie, you don't mind me calling you Jackie, do you?
Oh, that's great.
These are the things that you had on your platform, okay? So let's go to the first one where you said you desire to formalize specialized units. What happened?
I did that, Sam. Every promise that I made, I kept. And I thought it was important because I think someone's integrity when they say they're running for office, things that they're going to do, is something that they have to follow through with. So it was very important to me to formalize the units in our office because it gave the attorneys a chance to specialize in certain types of crimes. So therefore, we have a drug unit, we have a special victims unit that handles child sex cases, we have an elder abuse unit, we have a white-collar crime unit, a homicide unit. But over the last few years, we've seen such a spike in homicides that essentially everyone in the office works on the homicide cases. But I thought it was important for us to do that and to organize within the office, and I've successfully done that.
When you're looking at these specialized units, okay, have you previously, have you seen a difference in these units versus the way it was before? Not like it was helter-skelter, but the point is, the fact is that now you specialize. Have you seen faster prosecutions or procedures moving quickly?
Absolutely, and we also see more expertise in the areas because in the past, in our office, we would try to put people in cases that they were able to handle, but now, if a call comes in on an elder abuse case, I go directly to certain assistant DAs, directly to certain detectives, and they, for example, and they know how to handle these cases. So if you do a case and a type of case long enough, you become good at it. And that's what we're seeing in these units. And we've seen this across the state in the larger DA's offices, but I thought it was important to do that in our office as well. Now,
another area here that you had said you were going to work on was the drug forfeiture unit, okay? What happened there?
What we do in the drug forfeiture unit is bring in funds from cases where we prosecute drug crimes. And we use the cars from these criminal defendants, we take their money, and we turn it against them. I put it into the law enforcement community in the form of training, in the form of purchasing tasers, guns, vests, computers, all sorts of equipment to help law enforcement, and we pay for training. We also take the cars that are forfeited from the drug dealers and we turn them over to the police departments. So that has been an extremely successful program.
Do you have a roughly total in the 4 years of what you think you've been able to get from the...
Thousands and thousands of dollars. It's actually...
And how is it redistributed?
Well, the process in our community is that the law enforcement individuals, the police departments, will contact me in writing. They'll make a request as to what they may need, and then I'll review the request, determine whether or not it's feasible. They will get quotes and bids for the equipment that they need, and then we will send them the money. And then we are audited every year by the Attorney General. So all the funds are up to date, all the records are up to date, but it's a great program because we know that we need money in our community and everywhere else. So when we take the money from the drug dealers and we forfeit it to use against them, I call that a success.
It is a success. It's sad that you have to get that kind of money, though, okay, right, from the drug dealers because, but Does any of that money go into the general fund?
No, it cannot.
It cannot. So it has to be redistributed.
Has to be redistributed to law enforcement in the form of training and purchase of equipment.
Okay, so that was one of the units that you, one of the specialized units.
Yes.
Another specialized unit is the juvenile unit.
Yes, we have 2 specialized prosecutors now. In the past, we generally had 1, and that person would go into juvenile court. If they were not available that day, we would take another assistant DA who may not have the experience that the first person did. So in this case, we have 2 who are very experienced, they're trained, they go to seminars, they participate, as I do, in the Juvenile Roundtable with Judge Lupus. We participate in the Juvenile Justice Task Force. So we have an awful lot of training that has happened in the last few years within our juvenile unit.
The homicide unit.
The homicide unit, as I said, it is not just a few people. It is essentially most of our detectives and our office, but the other assistant DAs in the office. What we do is we take the most experienced people, we make them lead counsel on the cases, and they are assisted by other assistant DAs. I myself have handled several of those cases in our office, several of the homicide cases.
The elder abuse unit.
Well, the elder abuse unit, we look for ways to meet the needs of the elderly, and we know so many times that they are often easy prey for people who would scam, people who would steal from them, and many times it's family members. So we have people who are specialized in that type of law and those type of cases, and also they are used to dealing with the elderly in our elderly population. So I think that unit has been a success as well.
The appellate unit.
Well, we have 3 attorneys in our appellate unit. A conviction isn't good if we lose it at the appellate stage. So
explain that so people would understand what that means.
Well, right. Once a conviction is obtained, then there are appellate rights for the defense. They file those rights generally. They file those appeals, and then the cases are heard in the Superior or the Supreme Court. So, in order for us to make sure that those convictions stick, so to speak, we have to have very experienced attorneys handling the appellate cases, and we do have that. And we have specialized secretaries in our office who only handle the appellate work.
So, based on your experience, Jackie, and when you campaigned in 2007 and you set these specialized units up, are they successful?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They are successful. We are using the resources that we have. I mean, naturally, I would like to say we need more attorneys and we're going to get them, but I don't see that that's going to happen with the budget that we have. So yes, it has been a success.
Folks, if you just tuned in, I'm talking to District Attorney Jackie Musto Carroll. She's been in this district attorney's office for 19 years, as the DA for 4 years. We come back, come key issues we want to talk about. Experience, what does it mean? There's other programs that were put into existence with her being the DA, and talking about in the last 4 years, last 2 years, what happened in our county, the corruption, etc. Where was the DA's office at this particular time? Be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, the official water of the Sam Lesante Show and SSP TV is Ptomakin Mountain Spring Water, folks. If they don't have this water where you get your water, ask for it. Ptomakin Mountain Spring Water, and you get it at JoJo's on the Beltway, among other places. So ask for Ptomakin Mountain Spring Water, the water that Starbucks uses. Hey folks, I'm still taking them every morning, 2 shots of Mona V. It's great. My buddy Dan Basala, give him a call. When you start using this stuff, you'll know how much energy you're going to have. Believe me, it's great stuff. Mona V. 24/7, folks, on ssptv.com. Thank you so much for the tremendous response. We're over 1 million hits so far on our website. And of course, Local News 13, I have to thank all of you. Over 17,000 households watching our news Monday through Friday, and over 15,000 of you watching, households now watching the Sam Lesante Show. I appreciate that very much. My guest today is the District Attorney of Luzerne County, Jackie Musto Carroll. Been in the office for DA's office for 19 years and DA for 4 years. Jackie, one of the things in the Luzerne County District Attorney's office, for people who are not familiar with, I mean, when you're in your office, you know what's going on, okay? It's, a lot of things happening. What, forms of how do you get public relations out? What do you do in the community so people know what's happening in the DA's office?
Sam, I travel to many senior centers, many schools, many crime watch meetings, and I describe to them what we do in the DA's office and also what's new in the DA's office, what crime fighting initiatives there are. We talk about how to stay safe. Last year and into this year, I traveled to 26 middle schools in Luzerne County, and I spoke to over 8,500 kids, talking to them about what can happen to them if they get in trouble and how to stay out of trouble, how to avoid breaking the law. So we have a great community outreach program. We have a detective, Chaz Ballo, who also travels to the schools, but I myself like to do that. I think it's the best part of the job, actually.
And Chaz does a great job. He does. I had him on the show a couple times.
Does.
When you're talking about some of the, getting the information out to people, we did a show, the Child Advocacy Center, okay, which I found really, really interesting, and it's for those people who don't know what the Child Advocacy Center is. Explain what it is and what it means.
Sam, when a child is sexually or physically abused, most times what has to happen is that they will go into the police station. They may then go to the Children and Youth office. They'll then go to the DA's office. They may then go to a hospital. So with the Child Advocacy Center, it is a one-stop place for the child and their family. They will go there, tell their story, be interviewed one time, and there's a live feed, a camera, which sends this interview into another room where maybe a detective will be there, an assistant DA, a physician. They're also examined, excuse me, they're examined, and we're looking to have them examined at the center. So, excuse me, it makes it much easier for a child victim to go through the system. And it's something I always wanted to do, and we have done that.
When I was there and we did the show, I found it quite, because it's like a home setting.
It is.
And first of all, God forbid it should ever happen to the children, but when the child is abused or whatever the case may be, to put them in a setting that they're going to feel comfortable, secure, they're traumatized to begin with, and all of these things are so important. And folks, if you didn't, the show is on the website. It's the Sam Lesante Show. It's it's archived. It'd be something for you to watch, because it shows you what you guys did in developing that. Now you work with different partners with this particular.
Right. We were looking for a space in the county, and I happened to contact Geisinger, and I asked them if they had maybe a room that we could have, that we could start our center, and they told us they would give us a house. So for $1 a year, Geisinger gives us this house, and they've remodeled it for us, they've cleaned it, and they upkeep it for us as well. So it's a beautiful setting for a child. When a child walks in, they might think that they're at their grandmother's house. Yes. There's woodwork, there's furniture, there's a kitchen. It's beautiful, it really is.
The other the Youth Aid Panel Program.
Yes.
Excuse me.
The Youth Aid Panel Program is a community outreach program for juveniles who have committed low-level first-time offenses. They will appear before a community panel of volunteers. We have now, I believe, 65 volunteers in our county. So instead of a child going into the court system, they will go before these volunteers. They will explain what happened. There will be no attorneys, no police officers, no probation officers, just community volunteers. Then they will give the child conditions to perform. So when the child performs those conditions, such as community service, writing an essay, writing an apology letter, the child will have 3 months to do that. When they do that, they then appear before the panel again, and if they're successful, the charges are dismissed. So we have found across the state that there is an 80 to 85% success rate. And that means we never see those kids again in the juvenile system.
You know, it's funny, Jackie, because education is so important for these young kids. Some of these young children who are getting in trouble, unfortunately, do not have the supervision either at home or whatever, and so their peer groups, and you know, they fall victim, they prey to these things that happen. I think programs like this, where you could go and educate them, and the younger you get into the grade schools, I think the better it is.
Well, that's true, because we do see so many kids who essentially, Sam, are raising themselves.
Yes.
And it's sad, it really is. So this gives them a chance. They have one offense, they go through a system, but not the juvenile system, and hopefully they'll learn from that, and they'll be able to turn their lives around.
Well, have you seen success with this program?
We've just started to have exit interviews of 5 or 6 of our students who have gone through the program. So far, so good. We're going to be monitoring the outcomes, and hopefully we'll continue with the success of the program.
The video here, Too Smart for Trouble, okay, let's
Yes.
talk about that.
Too Smart for Trouble is a video which was put together by the DA's Association and the 2 district attorneys in our office, the 2 assistant DAs who handle juvenile cases, helped to produce the video as well. So I take that video, I go out to the schools, it's a 20-25-minute video, and it shows different situations that kids can get into, that they can get into trouble. Drug situations in schools, bullying situations, and then we talk about it afterward. So I've spent an hour and a half at each of these schools, and the questions they ask are eye-opening, and what they know is sometimes startling.
What ages are you talking?
Well, right now we've been doing 6th to 8th grade, but I showed the video to my son, who now is in 9th grade, and he said to me, "Mom, I think you have to go into 3rd and 4th grade." He said, because kids are talking about drugs, they're bullying at a young age.
Yes.
And he's right, so that's what we're looking at now, showing that program to the younger students.
They're so advanced today. I mean, my
absolutely.
granddaughter is 8 years old, and my other granddaughter is 7, and my grandson is 6. They're using computers, like, you know, I'll say, Alyssa, Isabella, Mason, could you show me how to work this phone? Yeah, pop up.
Right, it's incredible.
And now you're talking age, so they're learning so fast,
Right.
and that's why I think it's so important to get into the younger grades. It's amazing. This interesting here, where you were able to generate $100,000 with your bad check program.
Right.
That's
Right, the
interesting.
bad check program, it's basically we help the merchants to seek restitution for bad checks that are written against them. And we've brought in over $100,000, bringing this back to the merchants and putting the money back into the community. It's been a great program. Our ARD program, we've been charging now over the last year and a half for defendants who go into the program. And I've always wanted to do that, and did that during my first term. So we have now brought in over $90,000 from the defendants, and that can go into the general fund, and that's being used in our budget. So I'm always looking for ways to bring money into the DA's office to help us fight crime.
Folks, I'm talking to District Attorney Jackie Musto Carroll, and we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of things. How important is experience in the DA's office, and what happened over the last couple of years with all this corruption? Stay with us. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. My guest is the District Attorney of Luzerne County, Jackie Musto Carroll, been in the office been in the District Attorney's office for 19 years and the DA for 4 years. Jackie, how important, is experience when it comes to the office of the DA?
Sam, I think it's essential. I started out as an intern in the DA's office. I was a full-time DA, a part-time DA, the first assistant DA, and now the district attorney. So I have held every position that an attorney can hold within the DA's office. And it's important because when issues come to my desk, I need to know what they're about, and I have to draw on my experiences. So I've been in the courtroom, I've tried cases. When I have attorneys come to me and say, is this admissible? Can we use this evidence? I know because I'm drawing on my experience and my training. There are so many situations that happen in the DA's office that people can't even imagine on a daily basis. But the district attorney must make the final decision in prosecuting the cases such as homicide cases. I may have police officers in my office saying, we're ready to make that arrest. I need to legally analyze the case to determine whether or not there's enough to go forward. So oftentimes I'll have to say, there's not enough evidence, we need to do more investigating, we need to have more experts involved, etc. So that experience is essential. Plus, I'm now 50 years old. I think lifetime experience does come into play when you're making decisions that affect other people's lives. So I can't see the job being done by anyone who does not have experience. It would be too difficult, and it's too important of a job for us to ignore the experience factor.
In the last few years, we all know in Luzerne County there was a lot of corruption, there was a lot of problems, etc. And sometimes all of the row officers in every office in the county courthouse spotlights then come in, okay, to especially the DA's office, okay. So what happened? What was the procedure when the corruption started becoming unfolded here, and where was the DA's office at this point in time?
Sam, I could say as the district attorney, I worked very, very closely and hand in hand with the FBI and other federal agencies. Of course, when you're dealing with federal agencies, oftentimes that information cannot be put out to the public. So I think it's essential that the public know that I did work with the FBI. They were in our office constantly. And if you think about it, the information that they received in order to prosecute these cases had to come from within the courthouse, from within the offices where people knew what was happening. So there was a great deal of cooperation inside the courthouse by people working there who assisted the FBI in these cases. So I'm very proud of the work that I have done. I have a great partnership with the FBI in the United States Attorney's Office. As a matter of fact, last Friday, both myself and U.S. Attorney Peter Smith put on a summit for law enforcement at King's College. We provided training, there was interaction, we shared information. So I continue to work hand in hand with the federal authorities.
If there would have been any type of wrongdoing in the DA's office, or any office for that matter, I am sure that it would have been brought out, because everything else has been brought out. Absolutely,
there's no question. I think any information that came our way, we turned over to the FBI. And they worked hand in hand with us as partners.
Well, one of the things, when I opened up the show, I said in 2007, when you campaigned, excuse me, when you campaigned, you had set certain things you were going to do with specialized units. You were going to expand the community outreach program, funds going into the DA's office, working hand in hand with law enforcement. Everything that was on your planned platform, you achieved.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what people look at, because, you know, everyone could talk a good game when they're running for office, or, you know, but what happens when they're in office? Do they do that? As I said to you when I interviewed Governor Corbett before he became governor, he had listed what he was going to do as Attorney General. He said, Sam, this is what I did, this is what I did, and he accomplished that. What is next? We have about a minute and a half left, Jackie. What do you see happening in the DA's office in the next 4 years?
Well, Sam, I want to solidify the programs that I've begun. I also want to continue to go into the courtroom. I have prosecuted personally several homicide cases over the last 4 years and throughout my 19-year career, but I want to continue to go into the courtroom and, again, look for new initiatives, look for ways to raise money for the DA's office, and just continue the cooperation with the state and federal law enforcement authorities.
How many are in your office right now?
We have 67 individuals. We have a budget of $5 million.
Mm-hmm. So, and they're all busy.
Everybody's busy.
Yeah. I know you had said a couple times when you were in Hazleton, some of the horrific things that happen here, as well as happening all over the country, that, you know, enough's enough, okay? And I think you've, you know, set your course to do what you have to do to prosecute these people.
Absolutely. You know, at times there is frustration because we have such a very difficult job to do, but I have trained for this job my entire career. Out of 26 years, I was in the office 19 years. I want to continue in this office because I think this is where I can be the most effective.
Well, Jackie, we wish you the best. Jackie Musto Carroll, folks, is our district attorney. Said she was going to do things in 2007 and completed them. Remember, you can watch us 24/7 on ssptv.com. Thank you so much for the nice comments and also the constructive criticism. We'll see you next time.